Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwarash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. News and prophecy, getting into a few things that are happening here in Babylon the Great, all right, as well as a few things that are happening worldwide. All right, and link these things to the Holy Scriptures, giving the elect assurance that these things are happening, all right, not as a means to condemn us, but to comfort us, though we will be met, all right, with challenges, though our faith will be tested, we're not forsaken. And, ultimately, while the world is sinning, the elect is winning. You see, and everything is happening, all right, according to what is written in biblical prophecy. So we have comfort, while the world is in, despair, they're perplexed. Some people can come to the conclusion that, something's wrong. All right. But how to link it to the Holy Scriptures and, the biblical Edomites and Esau being the end of the world, they can't do it. There's only one group of people on the planet Earth doing that. Okay. And that's the men of the Lord, the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay. Doing it in sincerity and in truth. As we are witnessing things be heightened, all right, there's a heightened environment in the earth. We're living in the perilous times that the Holy Scriptures, all right, told us would come. Let's get that in the book of Timothy. All right, it told us that perilous times will come. This is a prophecy. This is the book of 2 Timothy, which ultimately 2 Timothy was written during the time of Nero Caesar. Let's see if we can fact check that. Let's ask, see if I'm right or wrong. Was the book of 2 Timothy written during Nero's reign? Yes. Call hello, Yahweh. Yes, the book of 2 Timothy was written during the reign of Emperor Nero, and this was in the reign in which the Apostle Paul was put in jail, for preaching the word. Okay, I believe 2 Timothy was written from, by Paul from jail. Let's ask, all right, let's ask here, was Paul in jail when he wrote 2 Timothy? Yes. The Apostle Paul was in prison in Rome when he wrote 2 Timothy, specifically during his second and final imprisonment around AD 64 to 67. Unlike his earlier milder house arrest, this imprisonment was in a harsh dungeon, traditionally the maritime prison where he expected to be executed. Paul knew his execution was near, referring to this letter as his final testimony. So you got to read that letter. Okay. And the church was under persecution. We know what Nero did. So it could very well have been Nero who signed off on the Apostle Paul going to jail. And Nero's back today. Okay. And we believe through the Spirit that's Trump. Everything lines up through the Holy Spirit. Okay. And the persecution of the church of Yahweh Shai was under his watch. Okay. And he did it by deception. He accused them of something he did, which he is the accuser of the brethren. So yes, the Apostle Paul, all right, the book of 2 Timothy was written during the reign of Emperor Nero. Okay, Paul penned this final letter while facing execution in a harsh, perilous environment shortly before his martyrdom in Rome prior to Nero's suicide in AD 68. Okay, so this letter serves as a final charge to Timothy to continue Paul's ministry, continue his ministry in Ephesus despite the dangerous political climate. And we're living in dangerous political climate. Okay? Second Timothy's the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." See, and we're living in those perilous times where everyone is being, fattened for the judgment. All right. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. All right. You have this manosphere. All right. This internet where certain men, all right, and women have particular platforms, and they get a few little dollars and a few, a little attention, and they become the gurus of life, and they become proud, and they start mocking the Israelites. This is why, all right, this guy here, let's check him out. the one who said Israelites are remedial, Israelites are stupid. Fair use, fair use.
There have been explosions just down the street from my residence here in Dubai, and all of the flights have been canceled. So it looks like I am stranded here along with many others. But I would like to request that Donald Trump send Barron Trump into this war where, as Donald said, there will be casualties, American heroes. You see, my brother is one of those heroes. He's in the military, and our family did not start this war or choose this war. Your family, Donald, did. So send your son. There's no way you should be the commander in chief and you should not have any skin in the game. Send Barron Trump. Who in your family?
And they're sending these people to war, all right, for the purpose of, all right, being crash dummies. They're a sacrifice. See? And this nigga then went over there to Dubai, and now he's stuck. Now he may get home, because there's another video I uploaded where it was a bunch of Jake, and they're all, stranded in Dubai, watching particular, missiles, drop right in their faces, man. Who's to say that their asses don't get blown up? Now here it is for 2 weeks, damn near 3 weeks. They've been talking about invading Iran and wars on the way, and we're going to send, we're going to invade. Wouldn't it make sense to stay the F away from the what they call the Middle East in that area right now? But this is just the beginning of judgment, because he made it get back home. But this is you can see in his eyes, this is the same guy mocking the Israelites. Now, don't get it twisted. You got some stupid ass Israelites, man. Some lip hanging, wave cap print, just, Golden Corral niggas. The Golden Corral is a good time to him now. You ain't wicked if you eat there, but man, I just don't like it. I just don't like the environment. But anyway, he's through. He's through, man. He's through. He mocked the Israelites. Now his ass is, he's in doubt of his life right now. He's in doubt of what can happen. See? And the Lord is addressing pride. We're living in the times, all right, which we'll get into the planets being aligned around the 28th of last month, which we're already in March. We're already coming up on the new year, the Passover. April 1st, the true new year, the beginning of our calendar, the beginning of our months starts, all right, at the Passover, you see? And we're witnessing, man, I mean, it's, and this is just one little, situation. At the end of the day, judgment is coming to our people, but we're living in a time of a heightened spirit. Things are getting ready to be heightened. So it's going to make the days perilous. This is perilous, to fly somewhere and be at the threat that you can't get back, or be at the threat that a bomb just blows up the whole airport. That's dangerous. Okay? Kalepos, all right?
Strong's G 5467. Chalipas. Chalipas.
Hard to do. All right. To take. Hard to take. Hard to approach. Hard to bear. Troublesome. Dangerous. Harsh. Fierce. Savage. Savage. Difficult. Okay, through the idea of reducing strength, it's going to reduce your strength. It's going to be very trying in the times that we are approaching, because the man of sin is getting ready to show you, if you didn't believe he was the devil from 2020 until now, you getting ready to he getting ready to go 10 toes down for Satan. And this is the spirit the Lord is going to have him in. This is all of the Lord's doing. Okay, we're approaching perilous times where the Lord has, said enough is enough, and he's getting ready to judge rebellion. This is the time that we're living in. This is what led to the flood. You see? And as we can see, 2026 has not slacked up. All right, not one day. These Edomites have given you something every day. Okay, every day we're every 5 minutes there's something new, and now things are getting ready to go kick into another gear as they have to move forward with their plan. Okay, and they need a reason to take the heat off of them and to accuse someone else. And this accusation that he's getting ready to come with is going to be deeper than any other. The beauty is that the Lord has exposed this man for being a devil. So on the 28th, all right, you have 6 planets that aligned, all right, and right before the spring hit, all right, this devil goes to war. And this is what, ancient nations always did. You don't hear about war in the winter time. All right, wars was usually associated with signs in the heaven, red, blood moons, full moons. All right, full moons, you can, it'll be a surprise attack because people ain't expecting you. People really expected, attacks during a dark moon, a new moon. So the moon has always been, associated, as we're, not even with this, you got this blood moon, okay, that's coming March the 3rd. A total lunar eclipse will occur. All right, March the 3rd. So all of these things that we're witnessing in the heavens are associated with what's happening on the planet Earth. Okay, the heavens dictate the earth. All right, the heavens dictate the behavior of the people on Earth, everything, storms, weather patterns, it's all controlled through the heavens. You see? So there's going to be a total lunar eclipse, and it will cause a full moon. Okay? Let's see. Goodness gracious. Total lunar eclipse will turn moon red. Here's how to watch. Now, let's get this in the scriptures in the book of Luke. Luke 21 and 25. Right? Basically, this is the time where the Gentiles, the natural Gentiles rulership is being fulfilled. Okay? And it's associated with Jerusalem being trodden down of the Gentiles. And we're witnessing the Holy Land, be trodden down, all right, with idol worship, war, vile behavior, disrespect, lies, heathen, right? So that's a mark that we're at the end of this man's world. During that time, right, there will be signs, Luke 21 and 25, in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And upon the earth, distress of nations. We're seeing nothing but protest, distress, just division, inflation. You don't own nothing. It's hard to own anything. One of these Edomites just said, in order for anyone to retire, they need $2 million. When has the earth was not made to be to bring forth that much hell, but we're living and we're witnessing the stress of the nations from this oppressive, destructive system. See, with perplexity, okay, the word perplexity, because there's about to be some shit that's coming, like Tupac said, that's good. You ain't gonna want to smile. See, perplexity. Right? Because it says, and there shall be sign in the suns and in the moon and in the stars and up on the earth, distress of the nations with perplexity, the sea and waves roaring. All right, the weather patterns thrown off, floods. We're witnessing all of that. But on the earth, you're going to see perplexity, aporia, the state of one who is perplexed. Right? And it says in the root word, all right, to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, to not know which way to turn. As a matter of fact, here's another one.
Hey everyone, my name is Shekinah Lee. I am 26 years.
And Shekinah is a left-handed spirit. You know? That's literally what Shekinah is. The Shekinah glory. All right, the female aspect of the Most High, or the Most High's wife in some cases. All right, Lilith and all of that. You know, the rebellious woman, basically. The Queen of Heaven. All right. Several Americans stranded in Dubai are speaking out after finding themselves dangerously close to missiles and drones as tensions with Iran escalate.
Years old. I'm from Chicago. I'm currently in Dubai. I'm in a parking shelter. We've received so many emergency alerts. We've seen the missiles with our own two eyes. We've heard the explosions. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know that for people who are staying on the Palm Jumeirah like me, we are currently taking shelter.
Like, if you've been watching the news, if you was paying attention to the prophets, you would know not to go to no Dubai right now. Like, come on, man. But again, there's going to be people in La La Land in these last days, man. You know?
So I just wanted to give you all this update for people back home that may not know what's going on. Trump, thanks again for nothing. You get out of America and you still are affected by his food. It's like overwhelming at this point.
And that's how it's going to be, because a lot of people are planning on leaving America. Well, the NWO was coming to everywhere. Everything is getting ready to change.
However, we're safe right now. It's hot. I mean, it's hot. And yeah, so thanks for watching.
All right, so currently in the lobby of my hotel. Y'all probably could hear the emergency message going off. Bomb just hit. I'm not too far away. Kind of felt like an earthquake there.
That's perplexity. That's like, oh shit. Because, you know, Americans ain't used to living this type of life. You got certain heathen in certain parts of the East that are just used to bombs just blowing up something right across the street from them. That's what they live in. You know what I'm saying? Americans ain't used to that. So the Lord, he, as the scriptures say, he's going to choose people's delusions, man. You don't want to get caught up in the judgment of the Lord, man. And this is just light work. All right? People in far crazier situations, but this is just light work. But just think, you hear a bomb hit, all right, a mile away from you. You thinking, what the next one go hit? Looking in the sky, eyes moist. Oh, man. Wishing you didn't go.
Noise. Everybody phones going off.
That's fine.
Ain't gonna lie, it's kind of crazy, yo. The lady across the hall from us says she's Lebanese and this is nothing she's experienced it before.
See, them people in the East, they experienced that. All right.
So it kind of made us feel better, but ain't gonna lie, growing up in the States, we ain't really deal with stuff like this. So just trying to keep calm through it all, remain prayed up, and yeah.
You better call on Yahweh Bashim Shai. Anyway, the spirits are heightened. Okay. So the as we were reading here, right? So perplexity, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, to be at loss with oneself, to be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed, not to have a way out, to be at loss mentally, to stand in doubt. See, and wisdom and knowledge is going to keep you stable in something like that. You see? And it's going to get worse because we're living at the time where you can be walking, you know, in the middle of the store and it's just something blow up. Some type of judgment takes place. Okay, this devil got sleeper cells all over the place. So all of these things happening in the sun and in the moon, okay, are associated with end time prophecy, man. And what I did is I typed in here just to, you know, get a little, we know and understand that all of these things, you know, symbolize that we are at the end. These are signs for us to be comforted by, letting us know that our Lord is working. You see, but on the left-hand side, they're doing sacrifices associated with these things. Ultimately, we're making our bodies a living sacrifice, but they are doing all kinds of wicked sacrifices. You're seeing people popping up, you know, to have committed suicide. You got all of these bombings. These are all sacrifices. Okay, we're at the time of war. We're in the time of war on the planet Earth, where the left hand is getting ready to wage war on the right, but more than anything, Esau Edom is getting ready to wage war with the earth. Okay, and it ain't gonna be nothing nice. Okay, a 6-planet alignment, right, which took place on the 28th. All right, so-called. It says convergence of purpose. The 6-planet aligning is often seen as a moment when different areas of life come into focus: identity, relationship, inner transformation, authority, or power. All right. Acceleration and compression of time. All right. Let's see. Event speeding. This can feel like events speeding up. Okay. Events are speeding up. The scriptures say, look, we're already in April. The scriptures say no flesh would be saved if the Lord didn't shorten these days. Mark 13:20, and except the Lord have shortened those days, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, he have shortened the days. You see that? So let's go back, just read a little bit more of this and we'll get a few articles. I'm just, you know, all over the place, but so is life. It says, events speeding up, long delayed consequences arriving. Woo. Lessons that normally take years happening in months. So things speeding up, accelerating, and it's 6 planets. So you know Esau Edom is doing his sacrifices and moving on the left hand, all kind of deceptions. All right, you got a dude pop up, you know, in Austin, Texas with a, you know, an Allah shirt on, just blasting people. Like, come on, man. But these are the times we living in. The left hand is going to do what the left hand do. This man is the devil. And he has the ability in the media to push the propaganda needed to get his will done in the earth, which is to destroy righteous people, to root righteousness out of the earth. That's what Cain tried to do, right? He wanted to slay the one whom the Heavenly Father was pleased with, because the Lord was pleased with his sacrifice, was pleased with Abel's sacrifice, but it wasn't pleased with Cain. So Cain, you know, was like, well, let me get this nigga up out of the way so the Lord can only accept my sacrifice. You see? doing what the hell he want to do outside of what is commanded. And now he's being addressed in the earth. Okay? Testing of inner order, structure, balance, human responsibility. I just typed this in, you know. Heightened spiritual sensitivity, vivid dreams, increased intuition, emotional intensity. Okay, so let's see here. So the Heavenly Father is these particular signs ain't happening for no reason. Something's happening. Okay, our Lord is getting ready to fight for us. Let's get the book of Sirach, the 36th chapter, real quick. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the book of Sirach 43 and 8. The month is called after her name. Moon and month are synonymous. Day one of a Hebrew Israelite calendar is the new moon. Day one of a month. Okay? And the Hebrew Israelite, how we follow our new moons, and cut the day one was the new moon. That was day one of a month. Okay? So it says the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So it's an instrument of the armies above. See that? And I think I typed in something else real quick. Basically, how the moon becomes an instrument of war. Strategic timing, ancient warfare depended heavily on visibility, travel, and morale. Full moon, night marches are possible. Surprise attacks are easier. Guard visibility improved. New moon, darkness favored ambush, raids, and assassins. Seasonal moons, campaign aligned with harvest cycles. Armies avoided winter moons. They didn't like to go to war in the winter. You just lose a bunch of men. Okay? So the moon did not cause war, but govern when war could happen. Okay? Psychological warfare. Ancient people believed the heavens reflected divine favor. If a king attacked under a significant moon, it communicated the gods favor us. The moment is appointed. And the Lord has this devil Trump in an overall just crazy spirit. All right, let's listen to this.
For the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now, it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of...
And they're getting their asses handed to them in a lot of regards as well. And basically, this man is... If you saw that State of the Union the other day, where he was just lying, America's winning, we're winning like never. But I mean, it was just complete reprobate, man. Now they're coming with, Operation Epic Speed. Let's see what this is. What is Operation Epic Speed? Let's see what this is. So he's just talking about kicking ass. And this is what the Christian always was, all right? The Christian nationalists, these Edomites, this is what they always were. It's a bunch of warmongers. They don't care about the scriptures. They just use it as a tool to wage war. Okay? This is the man of sin. This is the one who took peace from the earth.
Literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have
All of our objectives are achieved. Wow. Let's listen to this guy. Breaking news. Netanyahu says U.S. is helping him to do something he's wanted to do for 40 years.
סיימתי עכשיו פגישה עם שר הביטחון, הרמטכ"ל וראש המוסד. נתתי הנחיות להמשך המערכה.
I don't know what the fuck he's saying. So basically, you can watch it. Our forces are now striking at the heart of Tehran with increasing intensity, and this will only intensify in the further coming days. We are in a campaign in which we are bringing the full power of the IDF to bear as never before in order to ensure our existence and our future. The combined effort with the United States enable us to do what I have long sought to do for 40 years. So he's been at this for 40 years. You're talking about Iran had weapon of mass destruction, all right, raided Libya, raided Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. I mean, they're just all over the place, just basically trying to get full control of, all right, what is called the Middle East, but is Western Asia, even pushing towards Iran for strategic, to move into this new world order, you need to control. All right. It's about controlling, and controlling that region. Okay. Is basically key to world domination. And he doesn't want to share it. He wants it all to himself as he is seeking to move forward with his pseudo birthright. So all of these things we see happening, okay, are aligned with, as a matter of fact, it talked about how it's the moon is gonna turn into blood in the latter days. So let's read it again. Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of the nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear, and looking after those things which are coming upon the earth. For the powers of earth shall be shaken. So things are getting ready to be shaken up. Okay, leading to that nuclear destruction. But men's hearts are failing them for fear. See? So what we are witnessing, without getting too deep into the, the Iran, Israel, and America fiasco or whatever that is, right? We'll get into that. More than anything, these things are going to be used because, again, they need to go to war. All right. They have to come down with great wrath. All right. Because that is the only way they can go. All right. They've been exposed. People are waking up. The elect is waking up nothing else is working for this man. His enchantments are basically being weakened. So the only thing he can do is go with accusation, accusing people. Right? And bringing a sword, justify bringing a sword. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Verse 10, Revelation 12:10. And I heard a loud voice saying, now is come salvation, and the strength, all right, and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So the accuser of our brethren has been cast down via this word. He's looked at as a vagabond all over again. He's looked at as a problem all over again. You see, but all of you are getting ready to lose. Even those of you exposing your elites, all of y'all are gonna lose. See? So because he's on his way out, all right, and we know our victory is through the blood of Yahweh Shai and the words we speak as far as this testimony, all right, and we have to testify in the enemy's eyes, in his face. The righteous man is standing in great boldness, testifying against this place. And that will set precedence for the judgment that's going to come from the witnessing that we're doing. Because he's going to lay out his, Esau Edom is getting ready to lay out his case against the elect. Okay? He's getting ready to, as we talked about this earlier, suspect in Texas bar, all right, wore property of Allah clothing, all right, and we showed y'all, let's see if we can, let's see, what's this man's name? See if we can get a picture of it. Let's see here. Images. What? Austin shooter. There we go. Here we go. I mean, when have you ever seen a so-called Muslim walk around with that shirt on, with the property of Allah? Is that something, that ain't something I ever seen. Anyway, what was getting ready to come from this backlash with, Iran, and the small hats drawing America into war, the least of the flock is literally drawing them out, okay? It's basically Iran has raised the red flag of revenge, right? Okay. It says over the Jamkaran Mosque, as Shiite Muslims all over the globe start to commit acts of terror. You see that? This is the narrative, all right, going forward, okay? Red flag of revenge. Okay, what is the red flag of revenge? See what that is. Okay, in Shia tradition, representing justice and vengeance. Okay, and this is what Nero was able to do with the Church of Yahweh Shai via the fire he started. What he did was he burned down a particular region in Rome associated with the Temple of Jupiter. And then he used how the doctrine of the Church of Yahweh Shai was against their idols. And they always talked about how fire was coming. So he said they used their doctrine basically to justify, all right, burning down our temple. And then he passed legislation, right? He passed legislation to ultimately, crucify them on sight, burn them alive, and this is why eventually we ran out. We were kicked out of Rome, right? We had to flee. It was too much. So now the narrative is that Iran has, let's see here, has raised this red flag of revenge because their leader is so-called dead. You see the picture, it was weird. It's a lot of, and again, there are a lot of people being taken back to the spirit world. Sacrifice is a big part of war. As a matter of fact, I wanted to show you all what I was reading the other day as the Moabites were losing this war against the Israelites. Okay, it says here, 2 Kings 3:26, when the king of Moab saw that he was losing the battle, he led 700 of his swordsmen in a desperate attempt to break through the enemy lines near the king of Edom, but they failed. Okay. Then the king of Moab took his oldest son, who would have been the next king, and sacrificed him as a burnt offering on the wall. So there was great anger against Israel, and the Israelites withdrew and returned to their own land. So this dude offered up a sacrifice as he saw that he was losing a war, and he offered up his first son, the one that was going to be the next king, right? He gave up his son as a sacrifice to their god, most likely Molech, right? Let's see. And yeah, and basically this is what's going on in this world today. So there's a lot of sacrifices taking place. You know, you got two NFL players. NFL players have just been going back to the spirit world low key, left and right over the last 3 years. Like hardcore going back to the spirit world. And a lot of them are so-called suicides. What's up with that? This is a creepy environment, man. Like what the hell is going on? But I thought this was interesting. Oh, I did ask something on this. Hold up. Let's what I asked is in 2 Kings 3:26, why did he sacrifice his son? Is this a ritual used to win wars? Let's see here. This was not a random desperation. All right, this sacrifice was made to Chemosh, the national god of Moab. It was so these gods require sacrifice. So there's all kind of sacrifices going on. Okay, and there's a lot of left-handed activity taking place. So these moons and different, they are doing a lot of wickedness. Immediately, they so-called, went into Iran around this time, associated with these acts happening in the sun and the moon. Okay, all of this wickedness being exposed. And because the Epstein files were exposed, they're not going to stop. They're going to go even harder. Okay. So this was basically a great sacrifice to that particular god. Okay. And this is what these people do to their children, even if they don't physically put them to death. What they do is they give them over to the alphabet agenda. That's a sacrifice. Okay. They give them over to be, temple, prostitutes and sodomites for these elites and these different executives, man. This is a dark world, man. So sacrificing that son was the highest offering, man. So I was just like, that's what be going on in this world, man. Was child sacrifice used to win wars? Yes. Tragically, in some cultures, especially the Moabites, the Ammonites, Phoenicians, and Canaanite groups, okay, war was seen as spiritual first, physical second. Defeat meant the god was angry or absent. An extreme sacrifice could appease the god, reverse divine favor, right? Terrify enemies, rally troops psychologically. These people are crazy. And this is what we see going on. But either way it goes, with Iran raising this red flag of revenge, and now the Edomite has someone to point the finger at as the boogeyman, and now they're going to start to commit acts of terror all over the world. Okay? So in perfect Edomite fashion, and see, these plagues ain't going to stop. Let's get this. In the book of in the book of was it 2nd Ezra 16 and 20 or 15? Where was I at? Give me 1 second. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16 and 19. It says, no, that ain't the one I wanted. Okay, yeah, I guess we can get that. It says, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges. So people ain't even mindful, but now people are starting to notice. There's another one. All right, I believe is here we go. Let's see here. And this is talking about the missiles coming. Plagues are sent unto you. And what is he that may drive them away? You're not going to drive these things away. There's another one. Let's see here. Plagues. Maybe this is it. Yep. 2nd Ezra 16 and 37. Yep. Start at 36. Behold, the word of the Lord. Receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Believe not these different idols, man. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. All right. And there's another one where it talks about that they're like a lion. I forget how it's worded. Okay. As when a woman with child in the 9th hour bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, all right, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack that come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. And in those evils be as pilgrims on the earth. We're going to have to be as pilgrims. See that? We're going to have to be as pilgrims because everywhere you look now, right? Mother stabbed to death at Virginia bus stop by illegal immigrant with over 30 prior arrests. So now arresting, illegal immigrants is the number one focus, all right, and even domestic terror. Mother was stabbed to death at a Virginia bus stop by an illegal immigrant with dozens of prior arrests for grape, assault, according to authorities. All right, she was stabbed by Abdul Jallo, okay? And again, it's only going to continue. It's only going to increase. Okay, it's only going to increase. Okay, with all of the Epstein fiasco, that's just being swept under the rug. And now your own news outlets, all right, are being used to forward a narrative for a dark face to be, all right, the problem of the earth. Mall shootings. Okay, mall shooting during a sneaker release, a bunch of YNs. That's crazy, man. Just, oh, man. So again, look for the news to be used, right, to accuse our brethren, to accuse the brethren. You see? That's what he's getting ready to do. That's what he's getting ready to do. He's being exposed. So again, he's getting ready to shift the blame. And this time I think it'll be different. Okay, his approach is getting ready to ante up. And eventually he's going to start, because you got the likes of Alex Jones. He can't keep what he calls the so-called black Hebrew Israelites out of his mouth. Okay. And the enemy within is becoming now the shift, as every time you look up, there's some new nastiness coming out on what these people are really all about. Okay. So as it says in here in the book of Isaiah 32:5, the vile person shall no more be called liberal. Okay. No one looks at the so-called white man as Mr. Rogers anymore. Now they're questioning Mr. Rogers. Like, well, what is he into? Was he on the island? Okay. And that show, in my opinion, was a inside show to, picking up children. When you go back and look at it, now that you know Esau for what he is, go back and look at Mr. Rogers, especially that one when he was, the little Jake was breakdancing. Just go and peep him out and tell me the vibes you get off of him now that you got the truth. And boy, you tell a Edomite that, boy, they will try to kill your ass. They love him some Mr. Rogers, boy, because that's what, that he represented the white man's pure. He's safe. He's harmless. He really means well. He loves children. He won't harm a child. Now that you know this man for what he is, go back and look at that nigga and listen to him. And tell me, would you be comfortable with your child being with that nigga? So the vile person is no more being called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful, a harsh, mean-hearted person, man. People are now starting to look at this man and question him. His nakedness is being uncovered. Okay? For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy. See, and this is what he's doing. He's practicing hypocrisy. Although there's nothing but wickedness going on in America, all right? And we're not acting like Jake is just these innocent bystanders. No, our people are guilty as hell. A part of our doctrine and gospel holds them accountable, warns them, judges them. See? So he's getting ready to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, and to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments of the churl are evil, for he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. So he's getting ready to accuse the needy by bringing out the likes of illegal immigrants, right? All of these, immigrants who should have been in jail in the first place, all right, are going around doing all of this wickedness. Now we need to focus on the enemy within. Okay? Now they're bringing out all of this UFO stuff. 3.8 million files vanished within 24 hours after Trump ordered release of UFO. All of this vanishing, all of these just hidden records, and what's going on with Esau? Really? You just don't know where they be going. Well, why do you even put this stuff out there? It's like everything is a psyop. Everything is an assault against your mind, against your intelligence. The fact that these stories even exist, where the hell are we? Goodness gracious. So he's getting ready to go in. Isaiah 29:20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. See that? Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face wax pale. So Israel would not be in that dumbed down, dead state. No, the Lord will put a spirit on us, man. Okay? But when he seeth his children the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Lord God of Israel. And then they that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. And aren't we all learning the doctrine now? Okay, and that's leading to Esau, Edom's demise. So he's getting ready to flip it. He's getting ready to shift the focus, all right, back to, every week there's a new psyop, there's a new war on the mind. And this is what he's doing. He's just breaking the people down, man. And again, all of these moves, all of these sanctions, all of this war, all of this stuff is, these Gulfs being shut down, the different trade routes being shut down. All of that is eventually going to make life hell for you. They know what they're doing. This man's the devil, operating in high-level deviltry.
The American people should be extremely concerned. That is not coming from me. That is coming from other world leaders. That's also coming from people from Iran and also from the Pentagon. Look at this. It says Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threat grows. Now, I've shown you this article several times. And the reason I've shown it to you several different times is for one main reason. The United States is still creating conflict with other nations. Look at this, because again, this is just the start based off what experts are telling us. Watch this.
The SWAT teams and hazmat crews swarmed a Las Vegas home. What they found was shocking. A secret biological lab hidden in a garage, right in the middle of a neighborhood. This lab was tied to the same Chinese national who was arrested back in 2023 for operating an illegal biolab in Greeley, California. That's where authorities discovered deadly pathogens, Ebola, HIV, tuberculosis, malaria.
Yo, he gotta go, man. He just gotta go. Oh, man.
And even genetically modified mice. Counterintelligence expert Casey Fleming says those two labs are just the beginning of something much more dangerous. He believes Chinese biowarfare is no longer some far-off threat.
Oh, man.
Okay. So they believe that Chinese biowarfare is no longer a far-off threat, meaning this is becoming more and more concerning. This was in Las Vegas, okay, in the city of Las Vegas, in a suburb, in somebody's garage. The only reason that authorities found it is because some maids got sick. They saw this. They went into a locked garage, saw this, and reported it after they got sick. That's the only reason why the FBI was even alerted to this. But that is just one threat. Keep in mind, that's just one threat here in the United States. Here's the other one, and it has to do with Iran. Now, I want to play you a few clips on Iran, because according to reports today, this is what we're hearing. It says U.S. and Iran say progress was made in Geneva nuclear talks. Progress was
And this was some days ago.
made, but President Trump is not satisfied. And if President Trump isn't satisfied with what Iran is telling him and doing, again, two different things here. If he isn't satisfied, he could strike Iran's nuclear facilities. And if he does, this is where the Taliban says that they would support Iran if the United States attacks. That's what we learned just the other day. But listen to this right here.
President Trump has demanded Iran end its nuclear program and has not ruled out use of force if it refuses to do so.
So we see they use the force.
Likewise, Iran's foreign minister says his country will respond if attacked by the U.S.
Not only will Iran respond, the Taliban are going to assist Iran. Now, here's one thing I just want to keep you up to date on. As of recording this video, today is February 17th. As of recording this video, there's no known Taliban groups in the United States that we should be concerned with, okay? Keep in mind, even though the Taliban were responsible for keeping Osama bin Laden safe and all that, it was Al-Qaeda that attacked the United States back on 9/11, okay? So technically not the Taliban. They were part of it, but not directly. So with that said, some say we should still be extremely concerned when the Taliban say they would support Iran. Listen to this right here.
All those Arab nations, a lot of them are saying they're going to support Iran. So now we need to shift focus to, all right, these, radicalized people here in America who are amongst us. So things are getting ready to get very uneasy. It's going to be an uptick in what happens. Something big is coming.
Iran today halting traffic in the Strait of Hormuz for a few hours. We heard the Ayatollah say, well, one of your nice warships might end up at the bottom of the sea. Where's this going?
Well, I'm obviously not going to make any announcements today. I think the president has a lot of options. We do have a very powerful military. The president's shown a willingness to use it. He also has a remarkable diplomatic team. He's shown a willingness to use that too. And so what the president has been very clear with the Iranians, and actually I just talked to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner this morning about some of their negotiations, is the United States has certain red lines. Our primary interest here is we don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. We don't want nuclear proliferation. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, there are a lot of other regimes, some friendly, some not so friendly, who would get nuclear weapons after them. That would be a disaster for the American people, because then you...
The so-called white man gotta go. He gotta shut the fuck up. It's time for you so-called white people to shut the fuck up. And I'm gonna just say it just like that. Shut up. You're guilty. You're lying. This is all fake. It's all bullshit. This is, doing the news and prophecy. I was just like, let me just put some articles together. What's going on? These people gotta go.
You have these crazy regimes all over the world with the most dangerous weapons in the world, and that's one of the things the president has said he's going to prevent.
Okay. So that is one of the things that the United States doesn't want, and other countries don't want either. We don't want, and we can't afford to have other nations, not just Iran, but if Iran has nuclear capabilities and now they can, kind of create their own, fear. This actually is going to put more pressure on these other nations and these other groups to get their hands on a nuclear weapon, because now they're concerned with what Iran is doing. And that's where things become very, very scary, when all these smaller countries are now starting to position themselves in a way that the United States and other massive militaries don't want. We don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Okay, we don't want these smaller groups having nuclear weapons.
Yeah, the weak are saying they're strong, but at the end of the day, this is going to only lead to, America being able to use the propaganda that it's the victim. Threats are being made against them. Okay. And they're only going to pass forth more propaganda, more legislation that's going to lead to them being able to bring the sword upon the people and come down with great wrath. So I just wanted to get into a few things. I'm going to just leave it there. It's late.